Hey everyone. So I wanted to come on here and just give you my thoughts on this whole Oakland A's going to Las Vegas, become the Las Vegas A's situation. Now I've done a video on it before, and obviously a lot has changed and happened since I did that last video. And it definitely looks like, based on what's been reported and has been done over the past week or so, it definitely feels like the A's, which is why I'm wearing this hat here, are Las Vegas bound. But the question is, are they really Las Vegas bound? Because despite how it may look all doom and gloom for a lot of A's fans, which I consider myself an A's fan too. I mean, along with the Giants and such, I grew up on the A's. I mean, my late grandpa, he was a huge A's fan. In fact, one of the posters I have somewhere stored in the garage, he had framed of all the A's players that were part of that 80, that late 80s, early 90s run. You know, where they swept the Giants in '89, and they took on the Dodgers, and they took on the Reds, and it was like back to back to back World Series with the likes of McGuire and Canseco and Henderson, Stewart, you name it. So that's primarily the team I grew up on alongside the Giants and everything, kind of going back and forth, if you will. And every every night basically was a night in me and my family's household in '89 during that '89 World Series. And even when the World Series would be on a Sunday, we would get in our car, go to church and everything, and then go to our family, and then go to our grandparents, my mom's parents, if you will, and watch the World Series if it was on a Sunday. The point is the A's mean a lot to me and my family. So obviously it is very disappointing to hear that they might be Las Vegas bound. And obviously there's right now, a lot of people feel like there's nothing they could really do about it. But recently, a lot of news and information has come out, even since the Nevada governor signed officially into law the bill to get public funding for a new stadium to be built on the site of the soon to be demolished Tropicana Hotel in Las Vegas. But what some people, like those at ABC 7, in San Francisco and Oakland, if you will, the Bay Area, and others have pointed out recently, is there's a lot more steps to basically climb, if you will, to make this happen. One of the biggest steps, obviously, is the MLB owners. Yeah, now, yes, the MLB owners could, and a lot of people are expecting them to, unanimously, within the next few weeks, months, or however long it takes, to say, yes, take the A's to Las Vegas. And, that could happen. That could happen. But then again, there is something in the laws, apparently, that even some state Congress and federal Congress, I think, have pointed out that kind of, alludes to the idea that what's happening is not fan friendly, and that basically, you know, a decision like this has to be friend. Basically, it's a situation to where what Fisher is doing right now, in the eyes of a lot of fans, especially those that turned out for that reverse boycott at the Coliseum, what he's doing right now is not fan friendly. And that might play an integral part into basically making the decision maybe not so unanimous with the owners when it comes to relocation. They could also, add in location fees, which could add up to the money, the money amount right now that is needed for the ballpark and everything and stuff like that. So a lot of other steps have to be, taken into consideration. As most importantly, if this does get approved, and again, a lot of people are saying it's more than likely, to get approved for relocation for the A's. Another thing we have to put into consideration is, do we have one more season or two more seasons of the team in Oakland? That is the big question and everything, when it comes to this whole situation. Are the A's going to have at least one more season to play at the Coliseum? Are they going to have two more seasons, maybe three, before relocating to Las Vegas for 2027? We don't know. I mean, the Raiders, let's be honest, when they went to Las Vegas, that was all signed, sealed, and delivered, and everything. But they got to play the remaining seasons in Oakland. Like, hey, we're gonna go out on a high note for you guys before we relocate, and everything. The other question that obviously has to be answered is if this is going to take public funding, will the public, mostly that Las Vegas, Nevada public, be willing to fund out of their own money, the resources, the moolah, if you will, to make this happen? Will they be willing to see a site that maybe they love called Tropicana Hotels, and instead of the money being used to renovate it and make it better, are they going to be willing to see it get torn down in place of a ballpark that, if you look at the renderings and everything, is going to take up a huge 9,000, 8,000, 10,000 area on the strip? Are they going to be willing to do that? That is the question, that they still have to ask about too. Because the public in Las Vegas, they might want an MLB team, and that's great, but will they be willing to shill out the amount of money that it's going to take to make this ballpark a reality, but also at the same time want to see Tropicana Hotel go down? Are they going to be willing to do that? I'm not really sure. I can't really say, but historically, it has been shown that if a public doesn't want something, knowing that it's going to come out of their own money, especially at a certain amount, yeah, they may not be for it. They may not be all for it. Like, they might be for getting a team, but they'll be more for it if it's, coming out of money of corporations and everything that would invest instead of their own. So there's a lot of hurdles that still have to be, jumped over successfully, basically, to make this happen. A lot of people said, we are a long ways away from a shovel going into the ground, because the hotel's still up. That Tropicana Hotel is still up. And again, a lot can happen between now and then, as to the day, and that then being the day it would be demolished. A lot could happen. In fact, historically, they've even pointed out numerous times where it looks like we here in Northern California are going to lose a team, but then all of a sudden, at the last moment, miraculously, that team gets saved. San Francisco Giants, for example, they brought up, I think it was ABC7, KGO. They brought this up and they said, back about 25, 30 years ago, it looked like the Giants were going to be, Tampa Bay bound. Like, the Giants are going to be Florida bound. And at the last moment, locally, businesses, a group of people came together, bought the Giants, kept them in San Francisco, and thus was able to do, the resources financially, able to give us a new ballpark for them in Oracle Park, or what was formerly AT&T Park. That right there, historically, is an example of the fact that, yes, it can happen. You can get what you're hoping for to be a reality. The same thing with the Sacramento Kings. Everybody thought the Kings were Seattle bound. And already you had people in Seattle thinking, oh, good, we're going to get our Supersonics back. But at the last moment, a group came together, bought the Kings, and now we have the Golden One Center. And the Kings are off to one of the best starts we're off to one of the best starts in a while, because of that. The point is, there's a lot of things that could happen in between now and then that has to be over-hurdled and everything. Yes, it does seem more likely than anything that the MLB owners will unanimously okay, the relocation, but that's not 100% accurate. But that's not a 100% accurate insurance. Yes, it does seem like it's heavily going in that direction, but 100% accurately, not really. If it does get passed and everything, if the relocation is passed, something tells me it's going to be barely passed. Like, you're going to get maybe a 55 to 50 votes in favor of it passing. But we'll see. Again, a lot could change. They did point out, as I mentioned earlier, or did I mention it? I don't think I did mention it, now I think about it. But, they mentioned in the report, too, that when the governor signed, when he signed that bill into law, he didn't specifically say he's signing it for the A's to come over, for a stadium to be bought up, to be made and publicly funded for the A's. No, all it was a bill signed to publicly fund a new stadium for an MLB team, not specifically the A's, just an MLB team. Whether that is the A's or an expansion team, who knows? But the point is, it wasn't necessarily meant for the A's, just for MLB to get in, for them to get an MLB team, and stadium built in that location. But like I said, a lot of things have to be hurdled. As I check my time there, unless you recorded 4K at 14 minutes and stuff, I do apologize. But again, there's a lot of things that have to be over hurdled, if you will, to make any of this, ladies and gentlemen, a reality. A reality that, people have to come to realize, they have to come to realize may or may not come to be. Again, historically, a lot of things have proven in the past that just because it looks like more so than anything it's going to happen, doesn't mean it's going to. So all we have to do is just pray and hope and wait and see exactly what occurs in the next several months, if not the next several years. I mean, even if they do get approved to get relocated to Las Vegas, maybe part of that agreement is, hey, until that stadium's built, they're staying in Oakland. Just like with the Raiders. If they're going to go to Las Vegas, at least let them finish out their stint in Oakland until that stadium is built. And once that stadium's built, then they can officially go into Las Vegas. Like, yeah, they're already approved and relocation's going to happen, but until that stadium is officially built, let them stay in Oakland. Let them stay at the Coliseum. And that might be what happens. So in other words, part of the deal, part of the relocation deal, if it becomes a reality, is the A's stay in Oakland until 2027. And that's it. And maybe during that time, maybe things change. And maybe the A's do stay in Oakland, for a long time, for the time being, for longer than 2027 and everything. And maybe Vegas, they still get a team, but it's an expansion team. Maybe not who they wanted, but they'll still get it. And again, speaking of the team, speaking of the stadium, you have to take into consideration the public funding. Will the public be willing to fund out of their own money, out of their own taxes, for this stadium to happen? That's the question. And again, you also have to look into the fact of what they're talking about, this little amendment in the law, especially when it comes to MLB, that, you have to go by what the fans want. You have to go by what is fan friendly. And obviously, in the eyes of many fans across the board, this is not fan friendly what Fisher is doing. That is why you had fans chanting at the top of the fifth inning, sell the team and F Fisher. So we'll see what happens. A lot could occur in the next several weeks, next several months, but there is still a lot of major hurdles to overcome for even the Las Vegas A's to become a reality. And again, historically, remember, just because it looked like the last moment things were going to be bleak, that's when things miraculously went back in the favor of the city and the town and the state that wants to keep the team. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing. Let me know down below in the comments. Live chat during the premiere. Superchats are open during the live chat. I'll put that in the description. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are on this whole thing. How do you feel about it? And until then, I will talk to y'all later, but give me your thoughts. I'd love to hear them.